Welcome back to Bouvines. I don't have a playthrough here of turn 5. I was filming it and I had some technical difficulties that were like in the middle of the turn, and obviously I couldn't go back and reset everything. So I'm just going to talk about turn 5 and a little bit about the game itself, balance issues I think, actually. So it really looks like the French have this in the bag. I don't really see any way for the coalition to come back. However, it was interesting that when I was doing the rally phase, a lot of guys who were, well, not a lot of routed people, but some guys who were routed rallied, and a lot of discouraged people came back up. So we've got some fresh-ish guys, like around in here. He rallied. Some other people he didn't, obviously they couldn't. And on the French side, a lot of these guys, well, he came up, but a lot of these guys who could have all failed. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So there's a little ray of hope, but the victory point differential is such that I don't see how the coalition can bring it up, get it close enough for the game to be a draw. Otto and Philip, I keep trying to make them attack each other. Philip has jumped from one unit to another. He hit Otto, pushed Otto back that way. Keep hoping I get a 9 and they kill each other or something like that happens. That would be fun or interesting. But that hasn't happened. Obviously, there's still kind of a line here, a mess here. Pretty much all of Garen is fatigued except this guy who rested. So they're just trying to mop these guys up. These guys would rally if they could, but they're stuck. They're out of command. They can't really move away. The Oriflamme is routed, so he's back here. And so this is like the balance issue that I wanted to address. This is heavily balanced in favor of the French, in my opinion. And it's not just because of the troop quality differences. I think overall, probably if I added everything up and got an average troop quality, the French might have better, especially because of Garen. But on the other hand, all of the pikes, or not all, but for the most part, the center infantry, the Holy Roman Emperor Otto's infantry is better quality. So I'm not sure. I think leadership is actually definitely better, 100%. So in terms of with the leaders aiding in battles, they're getting a bigger modifier. They've got nobody on the German side is bigger than a 2, and the bigger than a +2, but the Germans have, the French have 2 +3s, so that's a big difference. But the biggest balance problem is just the proximity to the map edge for each side in terms of routing. So the line started like diagonally like this. The map edge is like right here off camera. Just like that's it, right beyond that. Like there's one more hex row, I think. One more hex row, okay? So you get guys that route. In many cases, the first turn they routed, they're gone. Because when you route, you move back 2. So like this is pretty close to the initial line of contact, right? So when you route 1, 2, and then if you fail your rally once, you're gone. Because you're going to move your full movement. The French, however, their edge is way over here. They've got to go through this. If they're routing from here, they're going to come all the way down here and then go this way. And then after this bridge, they've got 5 more hexes to go. So that means that they get more rally attempts. So they have more of a chance to come back. Like these guys had routed, but they made it here. They've only had one guy route off the board. They got another guy that if he fails, he's got one more chance. He's off camera, but he's got to roll a 3, so he's probably going to route off. But that's 2, so they've only gotten one guy to route off. Everybody else, they route. If they do route, then they're done. So the initial clash routed a bunch of guys for the coalition, and then they were just gone. They had no chance. All of Ferrand is just gone, pretty much. He's got an archer unit And that's not even his. And this guy, right, a militia. That's it. 2 units. They just don't have as much space. Because again, when you route, it's an immediate 2 hex move. So if you get hit, they got hit closer to here. So 1, 2, and then you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you're a knight, so you have like 2 turns, 2 chances, 1 to 2 chances. The French just have more of a chance. So I actually think, I mean, this is, I don't know, but it is a French publication, because, and the reason I'm wondering if it's unfairly biased in favor of the French is because the one image I saw of the, like an old map, showed the forces not arrayed diagonally like this, but like here and here, more even. So I think it's definitely a design choice to put them so close to the map edge. They could have changed the where this, they could have, like all this space isn't getting under here. There's a whole bunch of space. This is the middle of the map right here, and they're like this, so they're close to that edge. They have almost no breathing space, and the French have 3/4 of the map basically to come down. This all the way down here, none of that's used, so that didn't even need to be on the map. So I think that's a problem with games. Really, it's a tricky issue with any game where people are routing off the map. That's the main way units get eliminated in this, is routing off the map. It's unless they're surrounded and they can't retreat due to stacking. But that's very hard to do in this game. The pieces are not like super maneuverable. You can do it. It has happened. There have been people eliminated from that as well. But when it comes to a game where you're routing off the map edge and that's how you're capturing victory points, then it's pretty difficult to, I think, balance that. Because really just that alone makes a huge, huge difference. They just don't have time to recover, and the French have more time to recover. I mean, maybe they did that intentionally because they felt that the French had a more disciplined army, or better commanders, or something like that. But you would think that's already reflected in the overall better troop quality. So I don't know about that. So let's look at how the victory points have been playing out. I started putting it right here. So turn 3 is 19-0, 26-0. And then, so turn 5, the turn I just played through, I actually thought it might have been the last turn, because if there's a 30-point differential, it's auto victory. But the one guy, the one French knight, made it off the board, and somebody recovered off of the coalition side. So that's what happened. No, I mean, in terms of positioning, you can't really tell much that really happened during the last playthrough, or the last turn. That knot of French, I mean, it looks like they're really surrounded, but those are pretty strong guys. I mean, the leadership is really good, and the one under Pierre, that knight is fresh. He's not fatigued or anything. And those arquebusiers, I've learned, are actually really good. If they're just sitting there and shooting, so approaching them and having to deal with defensive fire at a 1 hex range can be devastating. Arquebusiers have routed a couple of guys just taking a shot in defensive fire or even offensive fire, and they just rout outright. So that's actually very powerful. It's hard to get a rout result on people, but firing guns at people can do that with just one roll. They can be fresh, not discouraged or anything, and they rout. So that's where it goes. I'm going to go ahead. Still going to play through, keep playing. I will do that just to go ahead and play out. There's 8 turns total, so unless there's auto victory, which still could happen. There's some routed. That guy, those 2 guys right there. He'll be gone. He's worth 2 points, and this guy is he's only worth 2 points. So that'll be 32-4. So it might not happen. Probably won't happen in turn 6, but you never know if somebody close to the edge gets routed. they might go. So anyway, that's how the game sets up so far, and just kind of my thoughts on the balance, the scenario balance. I would wager that the French usually win this scenario. They won it historically, so I guess that's one other thing in war games is that some people in designing games want to set it up so that the historical victor is more likely to also win because they were trying to make a simulation more than a game. This feels more, playing it feels more like a game than a simulation though, so I feel like it would be more interesting if it were, I might play this again with a different, just change the setup so that it's, change the setup or change the route map edge to make it balance in that respect and see how things played out. Might be similar though. So anyway, we'll see. Thanks for watching. Oh, just a quick shout out to, I have 3 subscribers already, so that's cool. I want to thank Michael Crooks, Grumpy Gamer, and Jamie Cribs being my first 3 subscribers in that order. It's very cool that anyone would want to watch me play this game. So, thanks.